I'm looking at footage of Keir Starmer in Germany. And first time he's sort of done the international statesman thing, sitting behind a shiny desk, signing documents, and using the phrase "turn the page" on Brexit. Keir Starmer talking about fixing broken relationships with our European neighbours, relationships that were broken by the Tories. And I mean, inflating the B word, bringing the B word back into political discourse, perhaps a little earlier than some of us expected or even than some of us hoped. And yet, as Anand Menon said just in the news a moment ago, there's not a great deal he can do. I don't like doing Well, every time I tell you that I don't like doing phone-ins that get filed under a certain question, the reason I'm telling you that is because I'm doing one, which means I do like them, which means I'm messing with you, frankly. I'm playing some sort of psychological game with you because I do like doing phone-ins that get filed under the question of what's the point of. I just recognise that you can't do it every day because it sounds lazy. But what's the point of this trip to Germany for Keir Starmer? He's aiming to reset the UK's relationship with Europe. And so this is a weird morning, isn't it, for us? And by us, I mean people who have either come to realise or knew all along that leaving the European Union would be an act of absurdity, an act of epic ignorance. And if you haven't arrived at that position yet, then you're still more than welcome on the programme, even if you are a sort of Billy Bunch of numbers with a avatar of a bulldog in a Union flag vest. That's fine. Anti-woke, anti-EU, anti-WEF, anti-WHO, anti-ECHR, anti-RSVP, anti-bloody everything. That's fine too. I'm here to hopefully soothe your fevered brow and lead you to a place of calmness and peace. But I don't get this. I want Keir Starmer to... It doesn't keep me awake at night. I kind of realised during the last couple of years that any hopes... This is why I managed to upset everybody now on this subject, the Billy Bunch of numbers and the rejoiners, because I don't feel the fire in my belly that they do. I recognise the inevitability of restoring relations with the European Union on as close a footing as possible to the one that we had before, but I don't see it as being... I think Starmer has said we're not going to rejoin the European Union in my lifetime. His lifetime, not my lifetime. He's about 10 years older than me, probably a bit healthier, so it might be more or less the same ballpark. But that doesn't work for me. And then if you don't rejoin, then what can you do as a third country? What achievements can you make? If you're not going to go sort of EFTA, if you're not going to be like Switzerland, what can you actually do? So that is why, for once, I do think that perhaps the question we should be asking this morning is, what is the point of this trip? It's not going to please people who mourn the abolition of their own freedom of movement, or who recognise that becoming the first population in the history of humanity to literally vote to impose economic sanctions on itself, or who want to restore relations as much as possible as soon as possible. I don't think it's going to please them very much. It gives some ammunition to, forgive me, it gives some ammunition to idiots who still don't, or who just hate foreigners so much that they'd rather be poorer. But that hasn't exactly worked out well in the context of immigration statistics, has it? But I guess that's the price you pay for being an idiot. So it's not going to please them either. And it doesn't please those of us who are sort of, conscious of the silliness of the whole project, but also conscious of I would call it the political impossibility of restoring relations to anything like the degree that rejoiners desire. And that's where I might be wrong, okay? It could be the first time I've been wrong about Brexit since 2016. The idea that actually this bit of the debate is a little bit more nuanced than I believe, than I kind of acknowledge. But how can that be when the former Shadow Secretary of State for resisting Brexit is now Prime Minister and insisting that we're never going to rejoin in his lifetime? So what is the point of this tour? And I really want you to have a crack at answering this question. Louise suggests it's an apology tour. But again, what's... Do you know what I want you to do? I want you to make me feel a bit happier. By 11 o'clock today, I want to think, oh yeah, that's a really good idea. Well done, Keir Starmer. That's a nice move. This is necessary. But at this point in proceedings, I can't see the point of any of it. They talk about an ambitious treaty with Berlin and advantageous access to German markets for British businesses. But if it's negotiable as a third country, then it's not going to be that advantageous. Anything worth having has to be agreed by the European Union in its entirety. Anything worth negotiating has to be negotiated with the European Union. Labour keeps insisting it has no intention of rejoining the EU single market or the customs union or restoring free movement. So what does an improvement look like? And I don't know. If my feelings are correct, there's a strong possibility you won't be able to answer that question. 0345 60 973. What does an improvement in UK relations with the EU in general, or Germany in particular, what does an improvement actually look like? Now, I don't know how much you know about what is achievable and what is not achievable. I'm being a little bit tongue-in-cheek with the boasting, but I'm almost, for the first time, veering into Brexit-related territory with which I'm not fully familiar, about which I'm not highly informed. What is actually achievable? What would a reset look like? And do we buy the idea of, what would you call it, of mood music? Do we buy the idea of it being worthwhile to make overtures to the German Chancellor? Is it actually an apology tour, the first stages, the beginning of a more meaningful relationship? Because I can't for the life of me imagine what a more meaningful relationship would look like. So here's the official line, right? The deal with Germany is set to cover areas including market access, which we already have, limited, reduced, but still, I mean, the idea that you wouldn't be, that's a Brexit line. That was a Brexiter line. Do you really think we won't be able to trade with Germany anymore after leaving the Euro? No, of course we'll be able to trade with Germany, but we'll have checks at our borders, and there may be payments necessary in order to facilitate trade that is currently free in every sense of the word. So what does that mean? And if you're in business and if you're doing import-export, if you're part of the 15% diminishment in both imports and exports that the Office of Budget Responsibility, the last time it looked at this issue, reckoned we were going to have to live with for the foreseeable future, what would actually help you? So the deal with Germany is set to cover market access, innovation and technology. Oh man, this is weird for me. I don't. This is such a strange period in my job. All the years that I've spent getting to talk to you every morning. Hey, look, he's doing something that's designed to recognise the idiocy of Brexit, but he's not, is he? What is he doing? Is he nibbling at the edges of something? What does that even mean? Innovation and technology. The deal is set to cover innovation and technology. Right, Keith, after the show today, we're going to have a big meeting about innovation and technology, yeah? What does that even mean? Yeah, man, you in? Innovation and technology. Yeah. Could you shrug your shoulders any more? Violently? It's all right. Everything's going to be fine. We've got innovation and technology. What else is there? Trade across the North Sea. Pardon? I want to be wrong. Supply chain resilience, energy security, and biodiversity. Now, we do have an interesting bilateral agreement with France, the Lancaster House treaties that were signed in 2010. I can't remember whether it was Gordon Brown or David Cameron, but the negotiations would have been done by the former, even if the treaty was signed by the latter. It focused on defence and security. You can begin to get your head around that. But, I mean, what would it even look like? You've got NATO bases in Germany. Here's a conversation I never thought we'd have, all right? The new Prime Minister is seeking to reset our relationship with the European Union and, to quote him in the speech that he'll give later today, to turn the page on Brexit. What on earth is going to be on the next page? And am I right to fear that this is an awful lot of spin without any actual substance? Let me have a look at some of the thoughts you've had while I open up the phone lines. The number you need is 0345 6060 973 is the number that you need. I'll take quite a lot of leeway on this one, quite broad goals, and give me the the detail of why you think what you think. Because Kevin says, Starmer is trying to make the best of a bad job. Many countries have much closer economic relations with the EU without being members. So that's what I want. I want detail. What sort of countries and what do those relationships look like? Generations nowadays are 15 to 20 years. So if Starmer wins a second term, a generation would pass since Brexit midway through. Yeah, but he said he doesn't think we'll join in his lifetime. So that's way off the possibility. Starmer is trying to make the best of a bad job. That's a recurring phrase. I called a while ago. You weren't sure whether my idea for agreeing a European partnership would be acceptable to the public yet. I don't, apart from a Boris Johnson column in the Daily Mail or a Billy Buncher Numbers social media account claiming that it's a betrayal, I don't think that constituency of commentary exists really anymore. It's kind of withered on the vine, which makes Starmer's reluctance a little bit harder to understand. But it can't, I mean, okay, 10:16 is the time. What's the point of this trip? If Keir Starmer is turning the page on Brexit in Germany today, what do you want to see on the next page? And what do you think will be on the next page? Because from where I'm sitting, it's looking pretty blank.